All right, folks. It looks like I may be live again. Let's see if anybody's in here. Just me. Okay, so we're officially live again. I did an earlier version of this thing to see if everything was hunky-dory. And looks like we got 4 current viewers. So, folks, if you are on board and raring to go, hop on in on the chat there. And I'm going to go ahead and start stressing the official sound effects. So here we go. And let's see, 10 o'clock.
Do ghosts really exist? Are we alone? Is there life after death?
It looks like a giant ape with a man's face.
Hey, folks, it is actually 8 p.m. Central Standard. Well, no, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And usually I come on Sunday nights on the Dark Waters channel over on YouTube, but tonight I am doing my own channel, and I know I'm not going to get a lot of views or anything off of this, but I've got open lines tonight. I'm stressing out the new setup I've got. So if anybody is watching now, looks like there is. So here it goes, folks. If you want to call in, it's 931-994-6917. If you just want to lurk around and watch or not watch or do whatever you need to do, heck, here we go. We're going to do this show, a Sunday edition, which I just kind of put together tonight. If you're over in the chat, let me know how the audio is sounding. It looks like it's coming out pretty good. Yeah, looks like it's everything on my end's looking all right. I don't know what it's like on your end. So, folks, tonight, like I said, that if you're subscribed to Dark Waters, fantastic. If not, go over to the Dark Waters channel and subscribe. Please subscribe if you like what you hear tonight. Subscribe to the Chasing the Truth channel, but I will always be on the Dark Waters channel for the foreseeable future. I'm just expanding a little bit, doing a little bit more than I usually do, and I'm just stressing out the equipment tonight. For the Sunday night, I did an earlier show. Brighter Sage. Hey, there you go. Oh, Saul Memes over on Twitter. Oh, fantastic. Saul's been a good friend for a couple of years. So, even before she got into really doing a lot of memes, I think we kind of got to know each other right before she really got into it. But she has some fantastic talent over there on Twitter, and she's got her own channel on YouTube. So, and yeah, for the folks that don't know who Saul Memes is, SOLMEMES from Twitter, you need to go over there and look at her, and also look at her on the YouTube. She's got several different outlets and stuff, so just look her up. I love her comedy. I love her comments on the Republican right side of things with her memes and her videos that she does. Fantastic lady, too. Salt of the earth. So, please like, share, and subscribe. Now, tonight, what I planned on doing was maybe, I know a lot of people have really been coming to my channel via the Dark Waters channel over on YouTube and the Paranormal Radio app. Well, I could have went live on the Paranormal Radio app, but I just didn't for whatever reason. Maybe tomorrow, I don't know. I may just start up and do a live Paranormal Radio app show tomorrow sometime and do a live stream here in in unison. So tonight, what I'm going to be going over is, one, if you want to call in or Skype me, 931-994-6917. That was the biggest thing. I actually, I found out some interesting little tidbits as I was kind of stressing the equipment out before I went live, and I found some audio issues that I've been having and fixed them on my other, when I do the Dark Waters live shows. So please like, share, and subscribe if you don't like that. So tonight what we'll be going over is, obviously, if you could know the truth behind any conspiracy, which one would it be? There's a bunch of conspiracies out there. The one that I've been hot and heavy over, the last little bit, is this virus that has hit the world stage. That everybody, it's kind of got a trick knee kind of going on. And this cucaracha virus or sun virus or whatever you want to call it, obviously YouTube does not like, their algorithm doesn't like to call it the official COVID-19, that C word, the beer, Mexican beer word there. But I can go over some of that here in just a little bit. But I've kind of did that in. Everybody's doing that right now. So, anyway, Brighter Sage. I don't believe I've ever seen that, but I appreciate you coming in and joining the channel. So, if you don't mind looking at it, that's fine. I know I've been known to talk about paranormal quite a bit over on my on Dark Waters channel, and I get quite a bit of paranormal traffic, especially with the Dogman and Bigfoot, and my channel, Chasing the Truth itself, it covers that. Obviously, it covers everything that's under the sun, more or less. But am I interested in the paranormal? Oh yeah, sure, absolutely. That's one of the things that Dark Waters, the King of Horror Narration, I jumped over on his YouTube channel one night when he was live streaming and decided to tell one of my stories. And actually, I can tell that story for the folks that are just joining in. There's like 5 people now watching. If you are watching and just have never seen this channel before, or if you just came over from the Dark Waters family, the Dark Waters channel, here's a story that I told over on Dark Waters live stream probably about 2.5 years ago. And I called in and told him this story. Now, obviously, one of the things that he likes is I can tell stories right off the top of my head, just similar to the way Dark Waters does. Now, this story is about when I was living with my parents, and I was about maybe 4 or 5 years old, something like that. We lived in this trailer court. Actually, the trailer court was called Hell's Trailer Court for whatever reason, not Hell, Hales. And I still think it's there. I don't know if the actual folks still own that originally owned that. This is probably a 45-year-old story. 45-year-old story. And that little trailer court and the trailer that we lived in was nestled between this big cemetery. So one night, I wake up and see something going down the hallway. And it was not anybody I knew. And stopped and paused and looked into my bedroom and then took off. And I've seen that thing a few times. And, of course, 5 years old, 4 years old, I obviously, scream out and say, Mom, Dad, what's going on in that, what's going down the hallway? Of course, Dad always said, be quiet, Sean. Nothing's going to harm you. Well, one night, I heard my dad scream. or yell out, "Who the hell are you?" And of course, woke everybody up in the house. And I never really thought anything of it other than I remember at that time that he went outside for a little while, and I fell asleep afterwards. But when we became a little older, I'd say in my teens, we had moved out of that trailer court and into another spot and wound up doing... Dad pulled us kids into the driveway, or not the driveway, into a grocery parking lot. Turns around, and we were thinking, well, he's going to go in for whatever. Bread, eggs, milk, whatever. And he turns around and said, I wasn't going to tell you this until later on, until we moved out of that trailer court. But one night, he saw this, gentleman that he never knew, and he could see through him, walking down this, if you imagine a trailer, you can see all the way down the hallway, past 2 bedrooms. There's a 3-bedroom trailer, and you can strike it all the way down and see stuff all the way into the living room, and in that trailer you can see into the dining room, actually, from the master bedroom at the end of the trailer. So he had a clear view, eye shot of this thing. It would pause, look in one room at the, I think my sister was in there, in the first room, and then paused and looked into my brother and my bedroom. And then Dad said he got pretty quick up. I heard him jump up and scream, "Who the hell are you?" And he said he jumped up to turn the light on in the master bedroom, flipped the light on, and he said the thing walked through the wall. So, that being said, what I remember, I heard him scream out, "Who the hell are you?" And I remember him leaving, but he said after that thing walked through the wall to the outside. Now, it was interesting at that point. Of course, here we are, these 3 kids, and this, I think it was a green Oldsmobile, 4-door, looking at Dad. And Dad kept going on, and he said, I went next door to the neighbors, and it turned into light at the end, once it exited our trailer, it turned into this ball of light. And it went into the neighbor's trailer and went through, and he said, I could see this energy or this light just go through this one trailer, and it exit, and it was a ball of light at the end of the trailer. And then it would go into the next trailer and on up and so forth until it got up at the top of the hill in this trailer court, and the final trailer went through. He said he lost sight of it. And of course, here I am, looking at my dad telling me the story, and after all this time, I was pretty pissed off at him. I was about ready to choke him out. I was like, you told me there was nothing going on with this stuff. But anyway, that was one of the stories I told him. And there was another story that I did tell on a subsequent call-in to DW's Dark Waters channel when he was doing a live stream several years ago. It was later on in life, I became a registered respiratory therapist. And one of the things that, if you don't know anything about me, I was in a coma for 10 days, and I had my left leg amputated because of necrotizing fasciitis, the flesh-eating disease. I actually went through 2 amputations on my left leg. First one was below the knee, and the second one was above the knee within 24 hours. But I had a near-death experience, which I'm not going to cover during this. I don't know how long I'm going to be on this this particular live stream. I'm just doing it to see what's going on, see who is listening, who's not listening, and what's going on. But one of the stories I told Dark Waters was this one. As a respiratory therapist, I got called to do CPR. A code's called in the hospital, and usually respiratory therapists are in code teams. Well, this was a little rinky-dink hospital, and I was the only, well, no, I think I just had come on to evening shift. So there was 2 respiratory therapists on duty for this particular hospital. And we ran and just had started getting our shift handoff report. And we ran to ICU where it was called. And there was this little old lady that the code was called on. Never seen this lady before in my entire life. So I ran in, started doing my duties. We did not do what's called intubation, putting an ET tube, endotracheal tube into this lady. But I did ambu mask resuscitation, and they did chest compressions, and I was doing my due diligence and my duty to resuscitate this patient. So, but this lady was never conscious during my entire shift work after we resuscitated this lady. Well, the story it doesn't end there. Well, the next day I come in, had the same rotation ICU, and I go in. As a respiratory therapist in this hospital, we did electrocardiograms, EKGs on patients, and usually the patients that have had heart attacks, which apparently this particular patient had. We do what's called serial EKGs, electrocardiograms on patients, ever so often to see, one, is the heart recovering from this cardiac event, or is it getting worse? So obviously I had a couple of EKGs that night on that particular lady, and I walk in and do the EKG on this lady. Introduce myself. And this was actually several months into me actually starting to do professionally respiratory therapy. So I was, being particular and saying, introducing myself, hey, my name's Sean, I'm going to do this, and explaining the procedure I was going to do. And this lady that I have never seen awake in my entire life, never knew her before, said, I saw you last night. And I was like, really? Okay. Last night being the time that I actually did a code on this lady. And she was not alive when I walked in. She was flatlined, didn't have a heartbeat or anything of that nature. And definitely wasn't awake any time that I had dealt with her after that in the shift prior. But she was looking at me dead in the eye saying, I saw what you did to me last night. I was like, okay. And she said, I said, obviously I was gobstopped. And I thought for a second and slipped out and said, what did you see? Which she said, well, I was floating above the bed and I saw you using this mask over my face with this big thing and helping me breathe. And I said, really? She said, well, you weren't the only one. And she started pointing out people that were in the ICU that was there last night and explaining to me who was doing what and what was doing what. And the catch-all beat-all here was, if you know anything about nursing, they don't do it anymore. They've got these little nightingale hats and uniforms with the little white hats with the stripes across it. At that time, 18 years ago, 19 years ago, whenever this occurred, the trend was just starting to fade. You still saw nursing students come in with the nightingale hats and crisp, clean uniforms. Well, there was a little lady that was nearing her end of her career, and she wore a nightingale hat. Now, I've only seen a few people actually wear nightingale hats throughout my career. It kind of faded the trend and wasn't demanded by dress code within hospitals later on in my career. So, saying this lady with a nightingale hat came in was, pushing, giving me medication. And I was like, okay, but she said that lady's not here tonight. I kind of not laughed, but it got my attention. Well, the story doesn't end there either. She said, I'm only going to be here for a moment or two until he comes back and gets me. He's coming back for me, I think was the actual phrase. And what I found out after that shift, I think I had 2 jobs at that time, and I spent a couple of days on another job, and then I come back a few days later, and I happened to ask during the shift report saying, hey, what happened to this lady? And he said, well, strange enough, she died about 2 days later, 3 days later. And they said the strangest thing happened with this. Said that she would talk to her family and her friends once, only once, and she spoke her mind and got whatever it was off her chest, and then would refuse to see that particular person again. And she did this over and over again with all the people that visited her that she cared to talk to. Now, after she was done talking to who she wanted to talk to, she refused every visitor. Now, she would allow, obviously, hospital staff in to see her. But after that, she passed away. But after what I was told that she said was, he was coming to get me shortly. So, that being said, she got a glimpse of Jesus Christ during her near-death experience. Now, that's not the only near-death experience that I have seen other than mine. Now, mine was just 4 years ago, or working on my 5th year. But anyway, the next one, I'm not going to tell that one tonight. But anyway, let's see. I've got about, I don't know, how many people is lurking tonight? Let's see. Oh, wow. Looks like there's 6 people listening, and I appreciate you. If you are listening and enjoying what I've just told, which is, absolutely wonderful that you come over to Chasing the Truth. My name's Sean Graham, and if you're listening right now, obviously, if you came over, you may have just stumbled across it looking up whatever my hashtags was in the thing, or you came over from the Dark Waters channel, which Saturday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time, I'm on the Dark Waters channel on YouTube. I'm also on Paranormal Radio app and 107.7 FM, but not tonight. I might go on the Paranormal Radio app, but I've got a slot on 107.7 FM UPRN out of New Orleans every Saturday night from 7 to 9. So, that being said, folks, go to IamDarkWaters.com. That's where all of my, not this particular show, or the show earlier today I did, would be the repository for those particular shows that I've done for Dark Waters. Now, this one, Dark Waters is aware that I'm going to, kind of expand and do more shows, but not on a YouTube platform for him, but I'll still be doing a whole lot of shows for him, and his new, he's going to expand and change the I Am Dark Waters brand to Exodus. Shortly, in the near future, you'll start hearing more about that. I'm not exactly sure if it's going to be Exodus Radio or Exodus Entertainment, but my show is definitely going to be on that platform. So, Parasweetie says, why do parents never help their children, or at least let their child know that you believe them? That can scare a child. And then, now everyone basically dresses the same in a hospital setting. I miss the way that nurses and doctors used to dress many years ago. Well, it's become, I'm not exactly sure if it's become informal, Parasweetie. But compared to what it was in the 70s and the 80s and into the mid-90s, it's informal compared to that. Now, technology has expanded and got better. Some has got worse. I can go on and on about healthcare. about what has changed just in the 18, 19 years I was in before I had to retire because of my amputation. And I've seen a lot of changes, and I've seen computers take over the entire... computers is a godsend in some situations, but computer documentation for healthcare workers, they had an extreme amount of paperwork. And when computers were introduced and started doing documentation on computers for healthcare, they stressed without any hesitation, this is going to reduce the amount of paperwork you do and the amount of time you spend per patient. That was the biggest bold-faced lie, period. Yeah, it was just, it may have gotten better since I've been out of healthcare in the last 4.5 years, but I doubt it. Documentation is documentation. So, anyway. Hey, for the 6 people who are listening, if any one of you 6 would care to at least, what I wanted to do is, one, test out the equipment, set up, and I actually did find some bugs in the system that I worked out. But if you would please, if you're listening right now, 931-994-6917, or if you've got Skype, Chasing the Truth 2018, all one word. If you would please, just if you don't want to talk too much, just say, hey, I'm so and so from wherever you are in the world on the YouTube, wherever this stretches out to be. Give me a shout out or a call or whatever you want to do. And that's what, let's see, what I want to do is, it's interesting because, let's see, auto playback. I was wondering if the closed caption will pop up. I'm not exactly sure. I wonder if that's an option that I have to put in on my own channel. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what happens. Copy video, start. No, that's not what I want to do right there. But anyway, folks, if you're listening right now, I'm going to be on here for maybe another 30 minutes, give or take. I don't know. Just however long, if the show starts catching on and a few people want to interact with me. One of the things that I'll probably do right now, if you are familiar with Dark Waters, or if you're not, over at IamDarkWaters.com, he's got a free chat room that you can sign up for free. And I'm actually signing in over there if you want to sign in over there. But I'm going to post in the YouTube here a link to it if you want to go there and sign in. Saturday nights, I definitely am in there. The entirety of the show. Usually my shows is 2 hours plus. Longest show that I did was 4 hours, and I can tell you right now, hey Saul, welcome aboard there. How you doing? Soylent Green is people. I've always loved that screen name of yours. Saul Mean sent me. Hey, Sonny, sweetie. Well, one of the things that I will be expanding, not just doing what I usually do about normal, my normal paranormal whatever. I've been expanding and covering this COVID-19 junk, or the Wuhan, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to be starting to talk about other things other than paranormal. Falls under the auspice of Chasing the Truth. So Chasing the Truth is going to cover just about anything that I want to cover. And obviously Saturday nights I do the same thing, so it's just going to be more than it's going to be more of me doing this throughout the week. So great to see you, Sonny. Great to see you, Saul. And thank you for sending some folks over to this channel. and I appreciate it. Now, what I have been really looking at, and hold on just a second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a text message. I've got some patriots that I actually do converse with on a daily basis, and we talk about the Democratic stuff and a lot about this virus stuff too. But hold on just a second. One of my friends sent me a text message over the Republican Party. Is, obviously they're doing their election of who's going to be on the ticket. Obviously, I forgot who the hell's on the ticket with Trump, but Trump is handing this guy his hat. But obviously, the other thing is, if you look at the numbers that is being voted for Trump, I hope a million come. I hope a million come too. But if you look at the numbers, Trump is being voted for in the Republican Party to get him on the renominated, which obviously that's going to be pretty easy with his ticket, with his, Keep America Great Again, Make America Great Again format, which I strongly believe in. And he's the only president I've seen that does not break his promises, his campaign promises. All these campaign promises from from the Bernie and old Joe Schmo. What's Trump's new slogan for Joe? Is it Sleepy Joe now, or is it Gaff? Last time I saw it was Sleepy Joe, but he gaffs so many times. I'm like, holy cow. Plus, he's a Creepy Joe. But if you add up, go over to the Democratic Party and see how many, all the votes that have been cast for every one of the contestants in that Democratic race to get on the Democratic DNC ticket for the President of the United States. You add all those up and compare them to what Republicans voted, the numbers voted for Trump himself, no contest, period. So, you look. Paris Sweetie said, "I love the pic of Trump's chopper flying over Dingbats rally." Which one's Dingbat? Which Dingbats are we talking about? And Bitter Sage wants to know, hear another ghost story. Oh, just a second. I think my sister just came in. My sister moved in with me about a few months ago. But anyway, yeah, you can. I'll tell another ghost story here in just a little bit. Rally sizes, you can see the rally sizes and compare to the anemic attendance to any frickin' Joe Mantegna. I haven't heard that one song, but the anemic rally sizes that these people, they try to do it, I think, in basketball arenas and whatnot. And then they have to squish and squish these people in to make it look like there's actually a bunch of people in there. And of course, they never do show the crowds in Trump rallies. I think if you go to Right Side of Broadcasting on several different platforms, Right Side of Broadcasting, they'll actually show the rallies and the lines that get up with Trump and stay there for 24 hours, however long they stay in line to see Trump. That's crazy. And then you look at these anemic crowds that's, say, at old Sleepy Joe. He can barely fit a few hundred people in a room. And that's, if that, I think that's probably his biggest crowd. Or if he tags on to, say, a carnival or whatever, that might be some inn that he might get some more people or whatever. But anyway, Brighter Sage wants me to tell another ghost story. Okay, another ghost story. Well, I've told this a few times over on the Dark Waters channel on YouTube and on my own show on the Paranormal Radio app on the Dark Waters channel. But I'm going to tell it here to be a part of, this channel, my channel, which is in there's no difference really between my channel and Dark Waters channel. Still going to be on there Saturday nights. But here's another to-go story. When I was going to college back in 95, 96, something like that, I was doing some clinical rounds on the evening into late shift at a hospital, one of the bigger hospitals in the region, here local to Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia. And I came home one night, probably a little bit after midnight, between midnight and 1 o'clock. And it's in this current house that I live in. And I was living with my grandparents at the time. And I had a room upstairs that I was grateful enough to have my grandparents let me stay here while I was going to college. And working a full-time job and full-time hours at college. So here I am traipsing in and trying to be as quiet as a mouse to get in to this house. And it's old 100-plus-year-old house. Old cherry wood, fantastic structure of a house. And come through the front door and trying to be as quiet as a mouse, as I said. I was creeping up the stairs, and up the stairs is a picture window at the top of the stairs. And I was using the street lamp light outside to illuminate the staircase so I wouldn't turn on the light to disturb anybody that was asleep at that time. So I walk up to 3 or 4 steps and look up at that top step, and there's somebody looking down at me. And it's nobody I know. And it was a lady looking down at me. And the strangest thing, this is 94, 95. Something like, maybe 94, 95, 93, somewhere in that 1993 to 94, 95. I can't remember right off the top of my head. But nobody wears an outfit, dress all the way down to her ankles. And it's gray, and she has this high collar neck blouse on with one of these opaque cameos around her neck. And her hair is up in a bun looking down at me, and I can't see through this lady. So this lady was solid because she's blocking out the light from the picture window. And I'm looking up at her, and for whatever reason, I didn't scream. I should have yelled in hindsight right now, thinking about it. And this lady's looking down at me, and I'm looking up at her, and I really got a good look-see. And I was like on the 3rd step, maybe, from the bottom, first floor. And here I was, searching with my right hand the serial switch to turn on lights upstairs. And I finally got to the point where I was about ready to lose my balance. I looked back, and I was just inches away from the step, and I lost eye contact with whatever that was at the top of the steps. So I flipped up the switch, looked up, and I was about ready to say, "Who the hell are you?" And that thing was gone. Now, after that, when I mentioned that I was going to school full-time, actually more than full-time hours. I actually got permission from the dean to have a credit overload. Plus, I was working full-time hours on top of that. So my only days I could sleep in was Sundays because of my job. And one morning I woke up after that, and everybody in the house on Sunday mornings. Sundays were my days off usually, but sometimes I'd work. But that Sunday I was off, and everybody was out of the house going to church. And I woke up hearing somebody singing a hymn. One of those hymns that you get a hymnal from. My grandparents was in Southern Baptist Church, so they usually sung hymns without any music. So you hear this nice sing-song kind of cadence to this little lady's voice. And I couldn't really make out what she was singing, but it did sound like she was singing a hymn. So I kind of thought, well, my grandfather, my papa, well, usually he had a thing for radios, transistor radios all over the place. He had a little cube radio. that you can hold in your hand, and he always listened to gospel music, a gospel channel on the radio station on any radio he had. And I thought, well, that rascal's done left the radio on before he left and didn't turn it off. So I fell asleep listening. Hold on just a second. Let's see what this is. Hey, this is Chasing the Truth. Who have I got on board here?
Fucking phone. Phoning me for a real number? I'll find you and stab you in the fucking face. I'll put it right through your ear and that little brain. God to find your brain, but I'd find it. Shut up!
And that's nice to hear you come in and kind of give me whatever the heck you gave me. I couldn't understand half of what you said. Are you from Mexico or what? I have no idea what he's saying, but anyway, folks. Man, these little trolls, I just love them. Oh, yeah, I can hear that. So, you need to grow up, buddy. That's all I can tell you. So, that's fun. Right there. That was fun. Anyway. Fun. And I'm going to probably... There we go. Got rid of that interesting guy. So, if you were listening to me, pocket dial, I don't know. I think he's probably drunk on top of that. So where was I? Liz woke up. Yikes. I think he was from... he sort of sounded like he had that Canadian A and then Mexican on top of that. I'm not exactly sure, but you never know about that fella. Love these things here. Love them. But that's part of doing live shows with a number that you put out like that to get people to call. So, fine and dandy there. Son of a gun. Anyway, here we go. Finish up the story. So I wake up a little bit later, and my grandparents have come back from church, and I smell KFC chicken, more or less. And I wake up and go downstairs, and I saw my grandmother, packing in the KFC, and I was like, well, I'm hungry, and I got to go to the bathroom, and asked Mama, did she turn off the radio? So next thing I knew, Granny said, oh, there wasn't no radio on here. You'll have to ask George, which was my grandfather's name. And come out of the bathroom, and there was my grandfather. And I said, Papa, did you leave that radio yours on? And I said, your radio on? And he said, no. And I said, where's that little yellow radio you carry around all the time? And I was in the kitchen. He was between the kitchen and the dining room. And just like magic, he reaches behind the wall and pulls out this little radio. And he says, this little radio? And he said, yeah. And he said, no, son, you're crazy. That's not been on. And I'm like, scratching my head. Now, from that point on, not since I moved back in after this thing. Hold on just a second. We got another call, maybe. At least I know that this is going on. Hello, this is Chasing Truth. Who do I have on?
Hey, what's up, sir? I'm masturbating my boycott too, Daddy. I like getting off with older men.
Yeah.
I do, sir. I like that. I like playing with a grown man.
Why is it that folks actually have to go through here and do this kind of stuff on live radio shows? So, that's funny. Funny. And, buddy, I think, did I lose him? On just a second. I think I did. Yes, I did. Look at that. Interesting. Son of a gun just hung up on me. What possesses a person to call in to a radio show that obviously, I don't know. I think there's a bunch of possession going on. So that's interesting to say the least. But he hung up on me. I hung up on that first fella after I talked over him for a little bit. But that's the fun about having everything through a switchboard and being able to turn down their microphone. Oh boy. Here's another one. Let's see. Let's see if this is. Hello, this is Chase the Truth. Who do I have on?
Hi, guys. Very hairy around my penis and my balls.
And we got another one that just jumped on board and started doing some crazy stuff. I think you probably need to lay off the alcohol, buddy. And he hung up. Wow. Hey, this is fun, actually. I haven't had a caller that wound up doing all these crazy things. These people are just either possessed or they have nothing better to do. Now, I think it's a different number. Pretty sure that was a different number. Yep, that was a different number. So, anyway, I just think they just don't have anything better to do on a Sunday night other than call into these random shows and do whatever the hell they want to do over the thing and make it out. How terrible are you as a person that you have to do that shit? Paris Sweetie says, jealous of your show, I bet. Well, I think it's just these random trolls that want to call in and make, I don't know, 5 seconds of this stuff. Oh boy, let's see. Have I seen that dude before? Let's see. Let me check this out. I don't know if I've seen this one. Well, let's try this out. Let's Chase the Truth. Who do I have on here?
Hey, I'm fucking
Oh, yeah. Are you? Really? Seriously. Another one pops up on the Chasing the Truth live call-in show that wants to make out like he's a crazy idiot. So. And he's still on the line. Really? Seriously, dude. You know, I think you need to go and check yourself into a psych ward. So, don't know what you need to do with that. But the one thing that I was trying to do, and obviously this idiot that's on the phone line, no, I don't know about whatever's going on in that, but I think what's happening is this idiot wants, whoever it is, they're switching numbers, and actually I've seen that number before, so I'm going to go ahead and just hang up on that little son of a gun. But anyway, folks. Really? Seriously? Anyway, I was stressing that, oh, they got me on speed dial, do they? Okay, that's interesting. So what I'm going to do right now is, as of right now, the Chasing the Truth number is toast. All right. So if the fellow's on that's trying to call in and get the rocks off for a Sunday night, holy cow, man. Anyway, so the story that I was finishing was my grandfather reached behind and found this little radio that I thought he left on and while he was around at church. And he said, son, no, that's not it. He said, you're crazy. And so from that point forward, ever so often, I would hear somebody singing a hymn in this house. So trace his number and give it to him after. Insta block. Oh, I'm gonna block all those numbers after this show. That's for sure. So if let's see, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different calls. So that's the fun thing about doing this is if you got the 931-994 number and whatever's happening to you. If you're trying to call in right now, which from the 735 number, son of a gun. How many people has called in? Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, fun on the thing. I may, right before I leave here in just a few minutes, I may take the last call and see who the hell, whatever going to talk about, and see what's going on. And obviously, they're not going to be able to talk over me because I can. Brighter Sage, was it all the same hymn? I honestly, the hymn, if you know anything about Southern Baptist, they always have the same sing-song kind of cadence. So you can't really tell. I couldn't really tell which one was it, but I never could really tell you what it was. I don't know. I don't know which hymn it was. But it was the same voice, that's for sure. Same voice. Now, over the years, the decades that my family's actually owned this house, a lot of stuff has happened in here. Actually, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had an incident here that we actually had to do a rebuke in the name of Jesus Christ to get rid of something. Wow. Somebody's really trying to get the rocks off and calling in. So, folks, if you're sitting there listening and trying to listen to me, and obviously you can't hear my buzzing in my phone anymore because Skype is just going nuts. But I'm not going to take any more Skype calls. I may take another call. It is off, actually. It's on. It is on my phone going off a little bit, but I can actually turn that off. So, anyway. But if you're listening to me and you're the idiot that's trying to call in on the Skype line, man, oh man. But yeah, this house has had several things that's happened in this house. I've caught several things on cameras. I've got the entire place with security cameras all over the place. I've caught some stuff, some interesting stuff in the basement, and it's just a crazy thing. What I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to just turn my frickin' everything off. There we go. And that's it. So, officially, if you are listening and trying to listen and you're trying to call in and do whatever idiotic crap that's happening with that phone line right now, I don't know why people do that. But I guess you have less than no life to want to call in and do this to a freaking show. But that's all right. I can talk my head off for hours and tell ghost stories. So anyway, we had to rebuke a spirit or demon or whatever about 3 weeks ago. Or maybe more. I can't remember. About 3 weeks ago. And on top of that, what had happened was my extended family, my sister's kids and her grandkids came in. And this my little grandnephew was running around and, doing some stuff with his brother and yelling, SpongeBob, I want that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden he says, "Neighbor's here." Now this is something that's been following around. I don't know if it's poltergeist or demonic or whatever, But there's some history behind this. My sister, which I think she got home, but I'm not going to bring her in here to tell a story. She's been out and about visiting her grandkids, actually. But she has been telling me about this encounter with this my one grandnephew that's right at 4 years old. And every once in a while, especially only when my sister visits her her daughter, my niece. And then my little grandnephew says, neighbor's here, and says neighbor's under the bed or neighbor's doing this. And all of a sudden, in my own house, he starts hollering, neighbor's here, and he starts wringing his little hands. And I caught it on video on one of my security cams, but I didn't catch anything else. But everybody got together and started doing prayer and rebuking this thing in the name of Jesus Christ, which I obviously condone full-heartedly with this. And they got this thing upstairs and got everybody to rebuke and tell this thing to get out. Now, after that, that little boy calmed down. And he stopped wringing his hands, and about an hour and a half later, he actually fell asleep on the couch in the living room where I was. And he was relaxed and all that. And about a week and a half ago, I actually talked to my sister about the event, because this isn't the only time that he has mentioned this neighbor thing. But he hasn't mentioned it since, so thank God for that. And that's the end of that story. Hopefully that is the end of that story. But yeah, if you like what you're seeing and hearing on this channel, please like, share, and subscribe on your favorite social media. But I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a night and do some reconnoitering with this stuff. I don't know what in the heck these idiots, or idiot, probably got a hold of this phone number and started, well, I'm going to call in and do this, that, and the other. I'm going to have a screener after this, probably. Do you think it's demonic? I don't know what it was, but it reacted to the name of Jesus Christ, bitter sage, just to let you know. And that's all I can tell you about that. Now, there's been some other hauntings I have seen throughout my careers in different hospitals, and I've seen some demonic stuff. I actually think one guy tried to carve out, he actually took a knife and carved out chunks out of his head and snatched himself bald. Paris Sweetie asked me, how do you get rid of that ghost? We got rid of that ghost by rebuking the ghost in the name of Jesus Christ. The one that was up in the hallway, that my first ghost story that I told about the lady at the top of the stairs, did the same thing. Did a lot of prayerful work, and it got to the point where I actually went up there to do something, open up a window or something, and got up to the top of the steps. And at the top of the steps, we have an old encyclopedia from 1967. So I was like, heck, I want to, see what 1967 they talked about UFOs and this thing. And I actually found 2 or 3 pages of UFO material in this old encyclopedia from 1967. And then all of a sudden, I feel somebody touch my left shoulder. And of course, here I am. I boot scooted up where I don't have a left leg. Boot scooted up, and I was sitting on my butt in front of this encyclopedia reading. And then all of a sudden, I feel this hand touch my left shoulder, and then everything got dark. Now, I said, please do not touch me. And then the touch was over, and the darkness, faded, and I could see, and this was the middle of the day. This was probably about 11 or 12 o'clock in midday. And I said, you can't do that anymore. You cannot touch me. You have made some people uncomfortable in my house, and you can't do that anymore. And then I did a lot of prayer work and rebuked this presence or whatever the hell that thing was in the name of Jesus Christ. And it finally left. I haven't seen that thing in quite a while, and thank God that it's not there. Now, there's some other stuff that I have caught. I've got one of the best EVPs that I've ever caught or ever heard anywhere on any platform, any YouTube, any show. But I can't share it because I was asked not to share it because of one of the participants in the security video asked me not to share it, so I'm not going to share it. I shared it once on maybe once or twice on a show when I over on Dark Waters channel on Saturday nights. But I actually went through and stripped the audio off the video and manipulated it and got the gain up on the audio. And you can plain and hear this voice say, I wish you both, and then there's some noises, and then this is a male voice, and there's two males in the video and a female. And that male voice isn't my late brother's voice, and it's not my voice. It's a real deep, rough voice. And it's not staticky, it's not anything, but it just sounds... I wish I could share it. I may share it later, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. But this old place has got some haunts, or haints. But anyway, folks, I think I wanted to call it a night since I've been on this thing for an hour. Now, I may go live tomorrow night sometime. But definitely like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And if you got this from my friend Saul over there on Twitter, please, obviously go over to Dark Waters on this channel, or IamDarkWaters.com. That's the home of Chasing the Truth. And go over there and subscribe, and you can get all. If you like ghost stories, that's the place to go. And you like anything that has to do with paranormal, cryptids, Bigfoot, Dogman kind of stuff, that's over there. Now, this particular show is not going to cover paranormal all the time. It's going to cover everything under the sun, like I just said. That's what the name says, Chasing the Truth. So anyway, folks, I'm going to go ahead and hit the outro music. Let me turn this up. And I'll see you next time, sometime in the next little bit. Probably tomorrow or the next day. I don't know yet. We'll just figure it out. So enjoy the rest of the evening or wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you next time.
Ghosts really exist. Are we alone? Is there life after death?
It looks like a giant ape with a man's face.
We've done some testing to determine if it is a synthesizer or not.
It's starting to come at me.
It's very difficult to do with the system.